It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs.
Good morning and welcome to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. I'm Gene Sullivan.
And I'm Tony Crockett. How are you today, Gene?
I'm great.
Good.
And we've got some really fun stories here that we're going to be covering today.
All right.
Folks, we're going to be talking about here right off the bat, a Wisconsin legislator is introducing what he's calling his condominium Bill of Rights. He feels that homeowners in condominiums and homeowner associations have been taken advantage of too long, and he has proposed something at the state legislature. And we're going to ask the question: is this bill going to accomplish what he hopes it does? I don't think it will, but we'll take a look at that. We've also got an interview a little bit later today as well with the mayor of Oak Grove. You know, Tony, this last year at the legislature, a lot of cities were concerned because the state defunded a lot of money that was going to cities in terms of funding that they were receiving. Well, here we have one mayor in our fair state who said not only have they been able to keep the tax rate at no increase over the last 2 years, this next year they're looking at possibly an 18% decrease in taxes. So we're going to be talking to the mayor of Oak Grove, finding out how that's possible. And then we also have another story that we'll be following a little bit later on today out of our favorite place, Las Vegas, Nevada. There is a Channel 13 action reporter who says that there are banks that are alleged to be in a major role in a rental scam. And so we'll be following that and so much more. But it is time right now, folks, for Property Management in the News. Property Management in the News, of course, is brought to you by Pest Control Services. When you need to get rid of unwanted pests in your home or rental property, you want to call someone who's responsive, professional, and a proud member of Angie's List. That would be Greg Keener. Give him a call, 952-894-9748, Pest Control Services. And, of course, we're broadcasting today from the Concierge Landscape Studios, and we're brought to you this hour by Extreme Exteriors. And now for our first story here, the Wisconsin legislator who's introducing a condominium Bill of Rights. And this is State Representative Corey Mason, and this is from... am I pronouncing this right, Tony? Sturtevant,
I think that
Wisconsin.
should be a D instead of a...
Sturtevant, Wisconsin.
There you go.
And instead of calling it a condominium Bill of Rights, I think I would like to call it the Seinfeld Bill.
Why Seinfeld?
Well, you know, the Seinfeld show was the show about nothing.
I see.
And I kind of think that might be what we have here with this bill. But maybe I am showing my predilections towards this story a little bit too early here.
Okay.
But here's what took place here. State Representative Corey Mason was upset because in Sturtevant, Wisconsin, there have been a condominium association where the people living in this association have seen leaking walls, windows, huge potholes, and I guess there are streets that are just deteriorating. They've seen a lack of representation, and they have complaints about the development company. And so a state legislator said, you know what we need to do is step in here, help these people out with a condominium owners Bill of Rights. The property is called the Villas of Racine Condominium Association. And apparently this 200-unit association has, they've got a large budget, $750,000 a year, over 200 folks. And they say about 30% of it is just going to do some of these repairs that shouldn't be the case. Apparently, this property was built somewhere between the years of 2003 and 2007. That's when it got started and completed. During that time, the developer, of course, ended up filing for bankruptcy, personal bankruptcy, and he left several developments unfinished. And, of course, the Villas of Racine were part of that. And so this is a story we've heard with a lot of different homeowner associations.
Well, it's been a bigger problem than we've ever seen before, where developers go out of business, go bankrupt, and they're not there anymore to back up their warranties or back up their developments. And
that's a tough position to be in. We've unfortunately seen that just in the last couple weeks when we heard on the news that Rotland finally closed their doors and said we're not going to be building anymore, right. And they've left with a couple of developments, some that they've turned over to us to begin managing, and there's a few people that are in there, but a large percent of the property not completed being built. Because the buyers just aren't out there right now.
Well, and I think the point of that illustration is that it's not necessarily that the developers are doing something nefarious or doing something irresponsible.
Yes.
Some developers are forced into this situation due to the market and due to the current economy. And many of them, I would say most of them, are trying to exit gracefully and exit responsibly and still take care of the properties that they began. Insurance, for example, hopefully they will have insurance in place that will help those homeowners left behind. So it's not always because of neglect or larceny.
And I think that's a great point to bring out. Sometimes people kind of think sometimes that these are just big money bag corporations that just pull away and say, you know what, you're out of luck, and we've got all the money. And they don't. They just
not
can't
necessarily.
They just can't keep the doors open any longer.
Right.
Well, anyway, that a common problem that we're seeing. And so you have one state legislator, in this case Representative Corey Mason, who's introduced what he's called his Condominium Bill of Rights. And he said, we're attempting, he said, to level the playing field under the law. He said this is what his bill will do. Number one, he said it's going to force developers to provide a warranty and a letter of credit for condo owners. 2, it's going to shorten the time before developers must relinquish control to the Condominium Owners Association. Now a developer in Wisconsin can retain control for up to 10 years. In Minnesota, that's 5. If there will be condo units added. Number 3, modify state law regarding auditing of condominium records. And number 4, ensure more diligence by the municipality approving the development. Lofty goals, and I shouldn't have started, I suppose, by just calling this just the bill of nothing. But well, no, maybe not. I think I think it really is. I think his heart is in the right place. But what he's offering here, do you see this as being able to cure any of these ills?
Well, I'm not sure that the ills are defined well enough. He's talking about construction issues. He's talking about warranty issues in the first illustration, the Villas of Racine, and there is already warranties in place. There are already, I'm sure, state building codes and state legislation in place about how developers are supposed to treat their customers after the fact. I don't know that adding something under the name condominium is going to improve the situation that much. What do you think?
I agree. I think there are a number of things that I would like to address, but I tell you what, before we do, looking at the clock, I think we need to take a quick break. Let's do that right now. When we come back, let's talk about some of the aspects of this proposed bill in Wisconsin. Is this a condominium owner's bill of rights? Will this protect owners living in homeowner associations in the good state of Wisconsin? We will talk about this more after these messages.